The first thing you should note is that this Bundestag, this federal parliament, consists of 60-30 members which are elected by the German people. So we say that we have 630 seats which can be filled in. And in the end, the result should be that the important parties are represented in the correct ratios in the Bundestag. So let's say here we have our voter with the corresponding ballot paper. And now the German election system says that every voter has exactly 2 votes. On the ballot paper there is a first vote on the left hand side and a second vote on the right hand side. And indeed this is the whole idea. We have a mixed system for the whole voting system here. So as already mentioned, it's divided into 2 parts where we have the first vote on the left and the second vote on the right. And despite the naming, the second vote is the more important one because it goes directly to a party. This means as a voter you find a whole list of parties here on the right hand side and you are allowed to set exactly 1 cross. So let's say for example you vote for party C. And to be clear, this ballot paper is really long because this list here goes on for 20 to 50 parties. And now we already know the total number of second votes gives us the proportional representation of the parties in the Bundestag. Because we also want to vote for people. So this is where the first vote comes in, and please note, usually such a person is associated to a party. However, it's also allowed to be a candidate without having a party associated to you, and then you are just at the bottom of the list. So all the independent candidates are just at the end of the list. So in total what we get here is a so-called mixed member proportional representation system. And I would say, roughly you can already remember that for the first vote we have a winner takes it all principle, and for the second vote we have our proportional representation. And now I will tell you exactly how this system works in practice. First, you should know that in Germany the whole election process has 3 layers. The outer level is given by the entire electoral area, and this one consists of exactly 16 states. These states are split into smaller parts again. And what we get is a total of 299 electoral districts. And now it's important to note that each electoral district has its own ballot paper. This means inside a given district we have direct candidates, and after all the first votes are counted, we have 1 winner for each district. The second vote, on the other hand, exclusively happens on the state level. So what we actually have is that each party gives out a party list in each state. And now in the case that this winner was an independent candidate, he immediately gets the seat in the Bundestag. However, if we have a winner which is associated to a party, which is always the case, we have the special rules for the distribution. And how this procedure works, I show you with explicit numbers. And usually we express this number as a percentage with respect to the total number of valid second votes. And in fact, this share of votes now determines which parties are actually important. However, on the other hand, there's also a second ingredient for that, because we can also look how successful the parties were with their first votes. Essentially, the total number of first votes is not important, it's just important how many districts the parties could win. And now we have all the information and we can decide which parties are allowed to have seats in the Bundestag. Indeed, parties that have less than 5% are completely thrown out. Unless they have won at least 3 districts, because then they are spared. Okay, so after these cancellations, only the important parties remain and they get the seats in the Bundestag. And the number of seats can just be calculated by a rule of proportion, where we also have to take in rounding errors. And the system one uses in Germany is called Webster method, or also known as Settler-Guy method. But now we have to fill the seats with people. And in the first step, we have to go back to the state level to see how the seats distribute over the states. And this can be done for each party separately, because we know how the second votes distribute over the states. In other words, now we have a list again, where we list all the 16 states, and the corresponding second votes for the given party. And the best way to see that is to look at an example. So let's say we have party B in our state 2. And now we know this party in this state gets exactly 8 seats. And now we remember that this party already had a party list in this state from the beginning. Indeed, there are real people on this list and the list is numbered consecutively. This means we can just go step by step and give the seats to different persons. And we can just go through the list until all the seats are taken. However, actually some other people have a higher priority and we can put them on top of the list. And these are exactly the winners of districts that belong to the given state and the given party. Obviously we only take the winners that belong to the party B, and then we can also order this list. On top we have the best winner, so the candidate that got proportionally the most first votes. This means only the percentage of the winner in the given district matters.